You're right. I mean, Nick Sirianni, he deserves a lot of credit. And I think we were using the phrase early on in the year. They were trying to kind of do that round peg into the square hole thing, where it's like, hey, we're not. Why are we trying to make Jalen Hurts, Phillip Rivers and the Colts last year, or Sirianni, who before that, had some time in the Chargers and that offense. Why are we trying to make it Phillip Rivers with the Chargers? What are we doing there? No, Jalen Hurts, he's not that kind of drop back passer. He can hit you if you're open, but he's amazing at extending plays and then creating a big play down the field with a one-on-one matchup or making a throw of that type of quality. And then his movement is special too. So yeah, they've tied it all together, to your point, Mike. That's where it's really amazing. And I mean, you look at some of these plays and the holes these running backs run through, and then what's happened, Mike, to what you're talking about is, you get so worried about stopping the run, you play defenses that are really simple. And you're worried about fitting every gap and everything, then it lends itself to these really easy pass looks. And Hurts he'll tear you up with some of those looks. But, again, last night, it's dominant in the run game. It really is. And I have a hard time thinking if it wasn't for those Washington turnovers early on that Philadelphia wouldn't have run away with this football game altogether. I don't want to take credit away from Washington for hanging around, but I do think it was apparent as the game went on that Philadelphia was, in another class as far as last night was concerned, and clearly the better football team on the field.
They're a team that definitely has gotten better as the year has gone on. That is a sign of growth and maturity, and they're rallying around Jalen Hurts, and they're trying to figure out what they have in him. Yeah. He came back from the ankle sprain. A couple of extra days, and the bye week didn't hurt in that regard. Here's Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts talking about the coaching he's received as they try to make him into the best quarterback he can be.
Jalen's dad coached him hard. My dad coached me hard. And so I think Jalen responds to tough coaching. He likes tough coaching. And I wasn't going to back down on him. I thought he was careless with the football, and I let him know that.
Well, I've been telling him all year, I'm a coach's kid. And basically all the coach's kids out there, they know what that means. That means they've been coached. They've heard everything. In high school, I lived with the guy that was chewing me out. So I made it clear to coach all year. I'm like, hey, you can get on me a little bit. So after the fumble, he came up to me, said what he had to say. And then later on in the game, he comes back and jokes with me and says, I guess I'm going to just start coaching you like your dad coached you.
He played a great football game today, one of the best football games I've seen him play. And so what an unbelievable job by him of what did he say, flush it? Don't look at it, flush it, and then move on.
Oh, boy, yeah, that's a lovely reminder. That is something that Jalen Hurts said earlier this year. I like Jalen Hurts. I want to see him flourish and develop and become the franchise quarterback that the Eagles have been so desperate to find for years now, and they thought they had one in Carson Wentz, and they didn't, and then they had one who won a Super Bowl and was the MVP, and he's not the guy, and just it's crazy how they have just been moving from quarterback to quarterback, but they want to see what they have in Hurts, and maybe they have something that they can build around here with Jalen Hurts. Almost kind of like what Baltimore has with Lamar Jackson, where you have a quarterback and a strong run game, and you don't need a guy who sprays it all over the place and has the high-end passing talent. Just enough. Just enough. But see, that's going to be, again, that's the key.
Yep, that's the key.
When they do come up against somebody who can take away the run or minimize the run, can Hurts respond with the throws that he needs to make when he needs to make them? So I think it's fun to watch, and it's unexpected. I like the unexpected as a football season unfolds, and we wouldn't have expected the Eagles to be on the brink of invading the top 7. And I agree with you. We talked about this last segment. I think we'd both rather see the Eagles in that for the purposes of having the best, most compelling, most exciting playoffs.
Right.
Eagles, please, instead of the Vikings, because if it's the Vikings, they're going to get their asses kicked in the wild card round, and it's going to be not worth watching. Or they're going to, I guess the most interesting outcome is they build a lead and they blow it in the fourth quarter. Yippee.
Fun
the
watch.
Eagles are a team that can win in January. I think they can.
So. I think they can too. I can. Hey, it's a great job what Nick Sirianni's done with that offense, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head in my opinion. Hey, before the year, I'm Jalen Hurts has proven me wrong. There's no doubt. I didn't think he was going to be able to run to the capacity of which he's been able to run. He's a better runner than I gave him credit for. There's no doubt. And the throwing, like you said, it's good enough. It's good enough. Yeah, is it Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers? No, and it's never going to be. But if you formulate the right offense around him, man, it's tough to beat him. He's got a lot of things to like. I love the way he handles himself. The team's gonna love him, and the fact that the coach can yell at him and do that. That's only gonna make the rest of the team better when you have that quarterback that kind of take it on the chin and just keep on going. And they're doing it the right way. I mean, if the Saints can't stop them running the football, I don't know if anybody could. And the Saints couldn't stop them. And I think you're right as far as I went from I don't think Jalen Hurts can be your future in Philadelphia to where I'm getting to the point where I go, oh, no, wait. Jalen Hurts is the future, and now you need to kind of go all in and go in all Baltimore style. You do. I mean, their offensive line's not even totally healthy, and it's one of the most dominant in football. You add another maybe big-time receiver to the mix, another guy who could do jet sweeps. So now you got Devin Smith and Rieger and maybe one other weapon who can go this way and that way, and we could throw screens too, along with Dallas Goedert. And I think you get another big-time running back, in the draft or free agency. Man, they could make this happen with Jalen Hurts and have their starting quarterback for the next 5 or 6 years. I'm getting to that point where I can buy into it. Yeah, I don't think it's ever going to be 72% and surgical like Drew Brees or not, but it's going to be, hey, you're open downfield, I can launch it. Go get it. Oh, hey, nobody's open, I'll scramble, make something happen. Come back, scramble drill, I'll get it. So I'm kind of, getting to that point, Mike, where I do think he is the future there in Philadelphia.
When we were talking earlier about the Eagles' rushing performance and you made the comment that they may have the best in the NFL, Pete suggested the question of whether or not it's better than the Colts. The difference is the Colts have all their eggs in Jonathan Taylor's basket.
Exactly.
This is a multifaceted approach that can survive an injury. Now, the Colts have Marlon Mack as an insurance policy if something happens to Jonathan Taylor, and if something does, they're going to look brilliant for keeping Mack around. But it's more of a system. It's not just a guy.
Exactly.
It's a system.
Exactly. Yeah, no, that's it. It's hard to kind of, pin the tail on the donkey as far as who's going to get the ball. We don't have a bell cow type of guy. I do think if they could use an upgrade, like a legit big-time runner, would take the offense to another level. But your point is real. It can be any of really 3 or 4 guys running the football, and then it's one-on-one. Oh, we got 2 guys with rockets up their butt outside. We got Rieger, we got Devin Smith. One-on-one, we could throw it up, make a play, do it that way. They really can stretch you out and stress you, again, like we talk about all the time, Mike. It may not be the traditional way, but they make you defend the whole field in Philadelphia. They got a receiver screen game. They can run it up the middle, and Hurts can throw the ball down the field, let alone his scrambling ability. It's going to stress defenses out. Their defense is a little bit of a question mark. But their offense is going to make teams real uncomfortable if they get in the playoffs, like we've discussed a few times here already.
There's another benefit to this approach. We discussed it a few weeks ago as high-priced running backs were getting injured one after another.
Yeah.
If you don't have all the eggs in one basket, you never get yourself in a position where you've got one guy that you've got to break the bank for. Because it's this smattering that never becomes the fan favorite, that never becomes the fantasy football hero. And it does drive the fantasy crowd crazy when you have that many different guys who may get the ball. But you never create that monster, and I don't mean it in a bad way, but that guy who you have to pay politically. From a business standpoint, you have to pay him like we've seen so many other teams do. It's more diluted, and you can spend less collectively for all of the guys who are part of your running game than you would spend on that one guy that if he gets injured, what do you do? So there's wisdom to that as well from the standpoint of constructing a football team and allocating cap dollars, and that's a real part of this as well. You have to allocate the cap dollars because if you're not overspending on your running backs, it's more money you have to beef up the rest of your team.
That's right. And, again, you're going to make it about the run game, continue to have depth on the offensive line, which we know is special, and then, they can maybe, get some pieces on the defensive side of the ball that take take that unit to the next level in the offseason. But I think your point's real. You're right. Hey, I'd like to see another guy in the mix at running back. But the smart approach is probably what you're talking about. Don't look for a guy to where now we got to pay him $15 million a year after 1 or 2 good years. Let's just continue to find 2, 3 guys that we know are really good. They all have their certain skill set within the offense that makes sense. We've seen the Ravens do this. The Ravens had it the right way. Hey, I got Dobbins in the second round. Hey, zoom, he can fly. Hey, we got Gus Edwards. He can run it up the middle and crush you. They had Mark Ingram involved in that at one point too. So you can definitely take that approach within this style of offensive play like we're talking about the Eagles where, again, if they get in the playoffs, I have a hard time thinking they're getting rid of Jalen Hurts and looking for an upgrade at quarterback. I think you got to go, wait, we did some good things here once we actually ran the offense that fit Jalen Hurts. And the more and more we go throughout the year and the more evidence you gather, I think that might be the way to go for the Philadelphia Eagles.
And they're going to have Indianapolis' first-round pick next year, and they can use that to address other areas of the team, although it could be a fairly low pick. Before we go, we got to show the play that was so
Jason Kelce?
kooky and bizarre.
Or no,
the interception off the heel.
Isn't that crazy? I know.
It was awesome, and it sparked a conversation, and you have an idea about actually having. Well, I'll let you explain what your idea is.
Yeah.
But some of these things are just hard to see in real time if you're on the field, if you're the officials, and you've got an official right there looking at it. Maybe it's not that hard to see. I'm not gonna defend these guys when there's a guy right there.
That's what
we can't see him, but he's right there looking at it. So how many times do we see things happen? Well, show the original angle, Pete, and you'll know what I'm talking about. Pete, right there at the line of scrimmage. He's right there. Yeah. He's looking right at it. Yeah. How do you miss that? I'm not going to defend them. How do you miss that? That's inexcusable.
Thank you, Mike. That's what thank God Washington scored a touchdown on this drive, because if they didn't, you want to go. Again, all the Jalen Hurts knew it was an interception. All the Washington players did. You see people on the sidelines, But the referee blew it dead so quickly and so matter of fact.
There's not even hesitation.
No.
We see the whistle in the mouth.
It's like he didn't even look.
Complete sign.
I don't even know if his eyes ever got over there.
On to the next play.
Right.
Oh, he dropped it. On to the next play.
Right. And again, listen, I just threw it out there as I was watching the game. Not like it's thought out, but I feel like too many of these easy-to-see plays are missed in football right now. I really do. To like what you're talking about, to where, there's a guy right there. How does he not see that? I don't understand that. I know we need sky judge like you were talking about, but maybe we need side ref or side judge too, to where, they can actually just watch the game.
But we had one right there.
I know, but he's
so
worried about what he's got to watch to call a penalty down the line of scrimmage, and he's looking at stuff like that. That's where I know. I don't get it either, Mike. But
once the ball's away, your only focus is watching the guy.
I would hope so. But we see this stuff every week.
The ball strikes the ground.
We see it every week where plays there's fumbles where we go, how did they not think that was a fumble? Why did they blow that dead? And that's where I just, they seem overwhelmed at points right now. That was a bad one, and the NFL got lucky that they scored a touchdown there at the end of that drive.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.